Why are you here?
People are getting arrested because they're protecting the earth.
Milk can't get to Tesco's because we've locked the roads.
Are we f***ed in 20 years?
We are eating plastic.
I don't want to be arrested.
It seems like a party, but the message is serious.
Open your eyes, open your heart. We're all in this together.
I just want to say, everyone who's been arrested today who is going to be arrested, it means nothing in the long run. These guys, you guys can arrest us as much as you like. This problem is not going to go away until we do something.
Here?
Because the government is denying a massive climate crisis. Simple as that, really. I want action. They're not taking enough action. You know, we have 12 years. 12 years. That's not a lot of time. Anyone that says it is lying. It is a very, very short amount of time, and we have a very finite amount of time to act. I probably will be arrested soon.
You're not scared?
No.
Give up plastic, be fantastic. Give up your cars, don't go in planes. I know that seems like, oh my God, why should I? We've all got to make a commitment, right? So it's like, we've all got to be pollution police and on check of it, right? Cars that are idling, go up to the windows, tap on the window and say, excuse me, would you mind just turning your engine off? We can all make a tiny little difference. Get a bamboo toothbrush, get toothpaste in a glass jar. There's so many things out there. Open your eyes, open your hearts. We're all in this together, and the ship is sinking. The ice caps are melting. There's so much water, we need to plant trees. Each person needs to plant 600 trees. That's 2.3 trillion trees are needed to offset carbon emissions. So everyone can make a slight change for the greater picture of it all, because it's not so much now of me, it's we. We're all in it together. We need to stop thinking singular. We need to think about everyone as a community. Community is unity, unity is community.
Can I ask you a question? Are we f***ed in 20 years, like our planet?
Oh no, I'll be fine.
You'll be fine?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
That's good. Good for you.
I can swim.
So this is one of the events that Extinction Rebellion are holding. We're protesting for the government to do something about the ecological crisis that we're facing right now. So we're in Oxford Circus at the moment, we're having a bit of a party. There's a big boat which says Tell the Truth, which is asking for the government to announce that there's a crisis, that we need to do something about it. And just lots of people from all over the country, lots of different ages, all over the country who care about this country, care about our children's future, and that they can live safely and know that the climate isn't going to collapse around them.
Is there something you want to say to the government, the message?
I know you guys are really tired, and Brexit's really hard, and politics is really hard, and this whole thing is really hard, but it's so important because if we don't do something in the next 10 years, there isn't a future to fight for. And I know that you're working your best, but please announce the crisis.
I actually just joined a couple of hours ago because there was the call on Twitter to come here and support the people that have been here for a couple of days. I think we need to not only individualize the problem of climate change, but recognize that it's actually a systemic problem and that we need to change the rules that govern our world in order to actually stop this. So we are doing our part here, but it's as much those people in charge who need to step up to their responsibility and do something. In Europe, there are already people who live at the front of climate change, and whose lives are being affected. Their livelihood are being destroyed. In Portugal, farmers are losing their lands because of wildfires. In Sweden, above the Arctic Circle, the indigenous Sami losing their lands because of wildfires, because the Arctic is melting, like the climate change there is 2 to 3 times faster. So climate change is already at our doorstep, and we cannot wait any longer. We need to do action now.
People say we have 12 years left. What does it mean?
It means that there is this IPCC report, 1.5 degrees, that was released last year. And in that report, the UN put together all the leading research on climate change from all over the world to kind of explain and get to the bottom of the scientific consensus of where we are with climate change. And they have calculated that in order to avert massive changes in our ecosystem, which will also have huge effects on our societies, we have only 12 years left before we reach tipping points. After that, we cannot change anymore.
I love my family, I love my friends, I love my unborn children, I love all of these people's unborn children, and I think I have to do something about it, because they're like all their unborn people's lives, all my friends' lives, they're in danger. This is an emergency. And I'm scared, I'm terrified, but I'm also incredibly hopeful. I'm also incredibly hopeful because this is happening. I've already been arrested yesterday. We have to do something. I don't want to be arrested. I don't want to be disrupting people in the street. I wish we weren't doing this. Tell the truth and act like the truth is real. Declare a climate emergency. We want the UK government and all the governments in the world to declare a climate emergency. We want net zero carbon and greenhouse gases by 2025. And we need to create citizens' assemblies around the world to implement these processes.
It's a massive protest because we at this point feel like this is the only thing we can do in order to make the government say anything. We are panicking right now, and that is what the world should be doing. And this is the only way to make it make people panic, is if people are actually talking about this. So it's on the verge of legality, but so is what the government is doing. I think it's illegal how ill-prepared they are for potential climate change, and it will affect us long term. This is just a short-term inconvenience. We hope that people aren't too inconvenienced, but we want them to know that we are doing this for them in the future.
Extinction Rebellion, just trying to make aware climate change, make the government act a bit more than they're already doing by blocking the roads, causing ecological destruction. We've already just read that milk can't get to Tesco's. They have no milk because we've blocked the roads. So we're obviously making some sort of impact, and hopefully the government will listen to that.
Well, people are getting arrested because they're protecting the earth. If any of us get arrested, we're using the defence that we're conscientious protectors of the planet. We have no permission to close the road down here. But sadly, because the government isn't acting on climate change and isn't heeding the warnings that we need radically different policies, the government is not responding to that. So we're taking power into our own hands and taking over the streets of London for as long as it takes. We want the government to declare a climate emergency and take over and produce meaningful action to effect, getting out of fossil fuels. Our target is 2025. If you look at what happened with Notre Dame the other night and the rapidity of response to that, if today Theresa May and the government met the cabinet and said let's have a climate emergency, the UK could be fossil free within a very small number of years if they took out all the subsidies for fossil fuels, put subsidies in for renewables. Last month the government gave planning permission for a new coal mine, which is the dirtiest form of energy. We cannot do it alone. We are citizens doing what we can in our personal lives. The government is there to represent us. They're not doing enough. They say they're doing stuff, and they are doing something, but they're not doing enough. There was a debate on the climate change in the House of Commons last month. It was attended by something like 15 MPs out of 600. That is absolutely shocking. This is a much more serious and long-term issue than Brexit.
I think it's the right thing to do, but it's difficult for people like us who are at work to get about, but I think it needs to be highlighted. So.
We're trying to raise awareness of the fact that the government are not telling anyone about how dire climate change is at the moment. It's getting very serious, but the government are completely ignoring it. They're not putting it in any of the media. And 97% of climate science is saying that we have a very short time left. I think the most agreed upon is 12 years. But the government, 12 years is not a long time. But the government are giving it so little coverage, and we need to make really drastic changes if we're going to have any chance of having a half-decent survival. But short-term profit apparently is more important than actually having more than about 2 generations of people left to be born.
Do you know why police is taking away few people there?
Legally, because they're sitting in the middle of the road. And I think their aim is to gradually take everybody away, but that's going to take a very long time. They have to do it one person at a time. And there are so many of us. There are a decent number of people who know about this and who know that we can't just let ourselves be pushed over by the government, talking about Brexit, talking about celebrities. We need, this is important.
60% of all life has gone extinct in the last 40 years. We are eating plastic. It's completely wrong. We need to change. We need to stop eating meat, we need to stop consuming, and we need to start degrowing the economy. It's the only way we can save ourselves.
Extinction Rebellion has been formed only since October last year because no government is taking the concerns of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change seriously. Nobody's taking the Paris Climate Accord seriously. We're tinkering around the edges, and at the moment we're on a trajectory of 4 degrees warming. That means a hothouse Earth. Most people will not survive it. We cannot sustain this. At the moment, we in the West, we consume if everybody in the world lived as we did, we would consume 3 planets. In America, it's 5. It's unsustainable, it's unfair. We've got to rethink what's important in our lives. Consumerism and eating meat and everything else, we've got to start reducing it. We can't fly off, on holidays twice a year. It's not sustainable. We can live a happy and prosperous life, but it has to be within the Earth's resources. So that's why we're here, because the government won't take us seriously, the media won't take us seriously, so we believe in non-violent direct action as our only option.
We're locking onto the boat to stop it being taken away because the boat has become a symbol of our resistance, and we are here because the government's not doing anything about climate change. We've tried conventional forms of protest and they haven't worked, so we feel we have to take to the streets and try and make the government listen to our demands.
Climate is very messed up, and those who have the power to change it seem like they don't really care much, or they don't really pay attention to it, and and they keep doing more things to make it worse. So this is an alert, not just to them, but for everyone. For me to change the way I live, and for you to change the way you live. It's all about peace and love. We human beings, we need to change. People are suffering.
Extinction Rebellion have 3 demands. The first is to tell the truth to the general public and citizens about the ecological and climate change crisis that we're experiencing now. The second is to reduce our carbon emissions to net zero by 2025. Scientists across the world have said that we have until 2030, but it's not an exact number. And I guess we think that it's important to be safe, so we brought it forward 5 years. And also to halt any policies which are destroying biodiversity and the ecosystem, because we rely on that to survive. And the third is to institute a citizens' assembly where a randomly selected group of people across the country are brought together and over time are informed by experts of the situation and then can deliberate together and come up with solutions, so that those solutions are from the people rather than just from top down from government. So that's why we're here. And we'll keep doing this until the government listens and takes this seriously. I mean, if a government is for anything, it's for protecting its citizens, and at the moment they're not doing that. And people need to know that they're not doing that, and that's why we're here taking time off work. I'm taking time away from my family in order to put ourselves on the line, our bodies on the line, to bring awareness to this issue. So
it seems like a party, but the message is serious, really, really serious. I think most people now know that climate change is something which is real and which is human-led. But what people generally don't know is how urgent the need for change is.